When you think of how gold is mined, what comes to mind are people wearing hard hats laboring underground. Gold miners are always excited to dig for pieces of gold that'll turn out to be a huge profit. Parker has always let in viewers into the back-end activities for gold mining in the Gold Rush series, and now he has just debuted his highly anticipated wash plant named Roxanne. Was this a wise investment? How effective is this wash plant? Join us as we talk about the debut of Roxanne, Parker Schnabel's new wash plant. The arrival of Roxanne. Parker Schnabel, the youthful and ambitious gold miner, has added a strong new tool to his armory in the most recent season of Gold Rush. The highly anticipated wash plant, fondly called Roxanne, has become the focal point of Parker's trip as he attempts to maximize efficiency and productivity in his never-ending pursuit of gold. In Season 14, Episode 18 of the show, the delivery and building of Parker's new wash facility, Roxanne, took place. Roxanne, which replaced the legendary Big Red, had some initial obstacles, including electrical and water hose troubles. Despite the failures, Parker maintained a calm and reasonable temperament, demonstrating his tenacity in the face of adversity. The quest to obtain Roxanne began in Season 5 of Gold Rush Parker's Trail in New Zealand. During his trip to the South Island, Parker visited many wash facilities, carefully evaluating each one to determine the best fit for his operations. His discriminating attitude was evident while examining the wash plants throughout New Zealand, even visiting successful miners like Ian White, who used dual trommel wash plants. Although Parker was quite excited about these creative concepts, he finally decided to customize a suited wash plant. In the third episode, a floating trommel wash facility, which was touted as the most technologically advanced in the world, was examined. The plant has controls in the excavator's cab and high-tech features like pressure monitoring. It provided unrivaled productivity. However, the difficult ground in Fairbanks was suited for this cutting-edge wash plant. In Episode 6, Parker investigated a screen deck wash plant, which he was familiar with despite its limitations in clay-rich soil. Although trommels were thought to be preferable in such situations, Parker's preference for the screen deck, as well as comfort and space factors, prompted him to create his own wash plant design. Roxanne's debut. After 2 years of preparation, Roxanne made her appearance in Gold Rush Season 14. Parker's one-of-a-kind design sought to solve the special constraints of his company in Fairbanks, Alaska. The euphoria surrounding Roxanne's release builds anticipation for a season of increased productivity and record-breaking gold output. When Roxanne, Parker Schnabel's revolutionary wash plant, processed its first batch of pay dirt, the findings were nothing short of spectacular. Roxanne produced an initial haul of 56.85 ounces of gold. This debut victory was a promising start to what might be a record-breaking season for Parker and his team. The first gold pour from Roxanne verified Parker's rigorous design and decision-making, while also setting the tone for the wash plant's efficiency and production. With the amount of gold ounces found, it spelled Roxanne's potential, demonstrating the machine's ability to handle large amounts of pay dirt and to extract significant gold. The 56.85 ounces from Roxanne's first run are only the start of what looks to be a spectacular season. As Parker Schnabel and his crew fine-tune the wash plant's performance and traverse the unpredictable terrain of gold mining, expectations for even higher yields grow. Roxanne's efficiency, paired with Parker's strategic approach, foreshadows a season of extraordinary accomplishments and possibly a new chapter in Gold Rush history. Parker's decision to develop his own wash plant demonstrates his dedication to innovation and efficiency. Parker kept committed to his idea while examining numerous choices, resisting external pressure for features he considered problematic, such as hydraulic riffles. The release of Roxanne marks a new chapter in Parker Schnabel's gold mining career, demonstrating his willingness to push limits and adapt to the industry's ever-changing demands. The success of Roxanne may make an indelible mark on the world of gold mining. Roxanne isn't Parker's only wash plant. Little Blue is an ancient shaker-style wash plant. It had been laid out and unused for several seasons before the Hoffman crew purchased it in desperation during Season 2. In Season 4, Parker Schnabel purchases Little Blue for the Scribner Creek claim. When the Hoffmans used the original hydraulic riffles, they discovered that they didn't operate, so they switched to a sluice box with conventional rifles. Todd named the ancient wash plant Little Blue after Big Blue, the famed Faveron Enterprises wash plant. In Season 3, Todd Hoffman decided to sell the wash plant since it was inefficient, and he purchased a new bespoke, trommel-based wash plant, the Turbo Trommel. By Season 4, Parker Schnabel purchases Little Blue for the Scribner Creek claim. Little Blue is approximately 40 years old. Steve Robbins, a Klondike wash plant expert, has rebuilt Little Blue. Parker observed that the ordinary rifles were packed full of garnet, causing the gold to exit at the end of the sluice, so he replaced the regular rifles with hydraulic riffles, allowing the gold to descend and the garnet to top the gold in the rifle zone. The hydraulic riffles require filtered clean water, so a water filter was installed to pump water into the riffles. When Parker pushes Little Blue to run 100 yards per hour in Season 4, the wash plant rattles itself apart, cutting its shaker drive shaft in two. When Fred Dodge inspects the plant, he notices that not only is the shaft broken, but the deck plants and sidewalls are also worn out and need to be replaced. Fred Dodge offers to rent Big Red to replace Little Blue. With Little Blue down for repair, Parker opted for the Major Wires FlexMat 3. It's a high-performing screen media to help with the wash plant challenges. This screen media is promised to help increase their production. Parker visited Aggregate and Academic Expo in San Antonio for a tour of the merchandise. After seeing it, he truly comprehended how FlexMat 3's independently vibrating wires accelerate stratification and do away with blinding and pegging, and he believed it would assist him in solving his throughput issues. He was pleased with the Optimum wire's inherent quality and its capacity for self-cleaning. Parker wants to give it a try. Soon after, the FlexMat 3 was installed on Little Red. For the upper deck, the double wire with 1.5 inches aperture was used, and for the lower deck, Series D with 3 8-inch openings was used. With 2-inch apertures on the upper deck and 1/2-inch openings on the lower deck, the FlexMat 3 was taking the place of the woven wire. Parker's woven wire output was limited to 60 yards per hour. Even with fewer holes, he was still achieving 115 yards per hour with the FlexMat 3. That represented a 90% boost in throughput. Everything was going smoothly until Parker attempted to exceed 115 yards per hour with Little Blue. The wash facility was so severely shaken that repairs were impossible. However, he was earning more from it than its previous owners. Little Blue sits dormant at Scribner, waiting for someone to buy it. It was purchased by inexperienced miners looking for obsolete equipment to launch their new mining operation. However, he was extracting more gold from it than its prior owners had up until that point. Parker then purchased the Big Red wash plant. Parker also desired the more recent 6x16-foot 2-deck FlexMat 3 on Big Red. On the upper deck, he had 1.5-inch modular polyurethane screen media, and on the lower deck, 3 8-inch tensioned woven wire. On Big Red's upper deck, FlexMat 3 modular Series D with 1.25-inch aperture, and on the lower deck, FlexMat 3 tensioned Series D with 3 8-inch openings were installed. Parker began to receive serious production at that point. Parker had only produced 489 Oz of gold from the start of the season until the introduction of FlexMat 3 in August, first with Little Blue and then with Big Red over a 4-month period. He wanted to weigh 800 ounces. Within 6 weeks of installing the FlexMat 3 on Big Red, they were able to increase production to 1,029 ounces. In less than half the time, they more than doubled the output. Parker noticed that he was gaining more during the time the episode was filmed. Big Red was really using the FlexMat 3 to run between 137 and 145 yards per hour in the end, which is an average of 40% quicker than it was using the previous model, running 100 yards per hour. However, he was unaware that it was the real gold. Big Red can run twice as many yards as Little Blue, using a sluice box that is twice as heavy and twice as long. 40 feet versus 20 feet seems like a good idea for Parker. Big Red is a wash facility built to Dave Turin's specifications. It is one of 2 new wash plants for the Indian River claim in Season 3, the other being the turbo-trommel Blue Mega-Trommel plant on the Quartz Creek claim. It's a shaker-based wash plant. This multi-stage step-down gold sluice box, measuring 16 feet by 40 feet, was constructed using our standard computer-aided software and mathematical formulae for all gold recovery systems. It involves new proven scientific breakthroughs and collaboration with experts like Freddie Dodge, who has more fine gold recovery experience than almost anyone in the world. It was built specifically for the Gold Rush show. The wash plant was new, brought into the Indian River claim. After the 3rd season, Fred Dodge takes over ownership of the wash plant. When Little Blue's shaker drive shaft breaks, Fred Dodge rents Big Red to Parker Schnabel for use at Scribner Creek Claim in Season 4. Big Red is one of the Klondike's largest wash plants, capable of handling 180 yards per hour. Big Red's sluice box is 40 feet long and twice as hefty as Little Blue's from Season 2. Sluicing is intended to take place on a 15-degree slope. Big Red costs $250,000. After several seasons of operation, the distribution box became worn out and needed to be repaired. The distribution box distributes pay dirt and sluice water to the sluice boxes for independent sluice runs. To address the issue of Big Red failing to wash the pay dirt off the tailings, they installed a computer-controlled 5,000 gallons per minute pump and a pre-wash spray bar. Gravity separation is used to recover gold, which works incredibly well since gold has a specific gravity of around 19, whereas sand and gravel have a specific gravity of about 5 to 7. Sluice boxes allow for surging, but other concentration methods do not. Sluices have been used for hundreds of years with proven effectiveness, particularly when new technology is included in their construction. In Season 5, Parker's foreman, Gene Cheeseman, develops hydraulic riffles for the sluice box to boost gold capturing potential, as ordered by Scribner's claim owner, Tony Beats. Parker invited a renowned miner, Loveless, to the field to operate Big Red. It was quite an exciting offer for Loveless, and she agreed to a week-long agreement with Parker. Loveless was able to handle the wash plant, but along the line the digging mouth cut into 2. She was a bit frustrated, saying that they could afford to lose other equipment while on the operation. A blacksmith mechanic, Ty Smith, and specialist Wheeler were called to the rescue to fix the mouth of the plant. The process continued, and in the end, they were able to get 163.5 ounces of gold at the worth of $295,000. But unfortunately, Parker had to stop the use of the machinery. Parker replaced Big Red with Slucifer at the Scribner Creek claim and relocated the wash plant to the Indian River claim to begin operating a second claim. Slucifer is a wash plant introduced in Season 7 at the Scribner Creek claim for the Parker crew. Parker Schnabel designed the wash plant over the winter between Seasons 6 and 7, replacing Big Red with a more efficient but smaller machine. It is based on the Macon Industries SD 600-meter shaker deck. The plant extracted 3,059 ounces during its first season of operation. In the next operation, while several activities were going on, the generator that powers the wash plant dense smoke into the air, and it was discovered that some compartment was burned up, so the washing process came to a sharp stop. With no spare generator at hand, Mitch tried to get another one, but it wasn't available till 2 weeks later. Parker was told by Mitch that the generator smoked up. He looked frustrated and tried to brainstorm a possible solution. Parker had no choice but to let go of the plant for some days to see if the generator could be repaired or if a spare one would be available to use. 172.35 ounces of gold from Big Red in the previous week, and with 400 ounces of gold from Slucifier, making a total of 572 ounces, the team made almost $1.5 million. The team was quite shocked that they could get such an amount with one wash plant. The season ends in happy mode for all the miners on Parker's team. Parker once bought a massive Volvo excavator, the EC750E. The 750 has more than 500 horsepower and can hold up to 8.5 tons of dirt. It also weighs as much as a T-Rex. He claimed that he got it in the spring since there's a lot to do in the year. It has a large bucket and a lot of power, which will allow us to move a lot of dirt. Other miners on Parker's team are banking on this huge equipment to help them move more dirt in less time, especially as their water contract expires and their entire gold mining enterprise remains in doubt. A machine operator, Brennan Rule, wants to get into the driver's seat, but Parker warns everyone who will be operating the dirt beast. Parker stated that if he discovers dented panels or scraped paint, the culprit does not get to go home, but he must do the lashings. Given that the excavator costs around $500,000, his warning isn't a wild remark. Brennan couldn't contain his excitement when he leaped onto the chair and yelled, "This thing is a pimp!" According to Volvo's brochure, the EC750E is the top of the line among earth-moving equipment. The brochure states that it increases profitability and productivity in the EC750E. The Volvo crawler excavator provides the ideal balance of power and stability to handle larger loads and the most demanding tasks. Industry-leading fuel efficiency, revolutionary electro-hydraulic technology, and eco mode all contribute to optimal production and maximum return on investment. The excavators are also designed to withstand the harsh Alaskan landscape as Parker and his crew dig for gold in the Klondike. The EC750E provides great stability, allowing operators to work confidently in demanding settings. It can be operated in difficult terrain with the well-balanced and sturdy machine, which has a broad track gauge, long track length, retractable undercarriage, and an improved counterweight. The new excavator's bucket is designed specifically for mining activity, so moving tons of dirt will be a breeze. Volvo's heavy-duty and extreme-duty buckets are designed with wear-resistant plates and excel in digging compact materials such as loose rock, hard clay, and gravel. They are ideal for quarrying and mining applications and are composed of reinforced, high-quality, durable materials for long-lasting use and great performance. If the bucket is having difficulty breaking through the Alaskan ground, the excavator can be equipped with a hydraulic breaker, which Volvo claims is built to break even the most demanding materials. Parker's loses $23,000 because of Big Red. As the show opened, the crew members noticed the water going into the wash plant was muddy, which was affecting the output of gold weight they found. Mitch called the crew member in charge of the water and resorted to checking the previous work done by the plant using the muddy water. They found out that they'd lost a huge amount of gold because the washing process was cut short. Therefore, they changed the water channel to be used to power up Big Red again. Parker said they had to make it work, considering their previous loss. They started the wash plant with the available water and sands excavated. After a while, the belt holding the wash plant came off and the equipment had to be shut down again. Mitch came up with the idea of fixing the belt and diverting the water away from the belt so the process could be smooth. Still, Big Red couldn't function maximally. It silted due to the dirt water used. At the end of the day's work, they realize they've lost up to $23,000 worth of gold. In the next episode, Parker examines the present situation of the Big Red and decides to fire it up alongside the Slucifer so they can get up to 470 ounces of gold to make up for the loss caused by the silt of Big Red. With a new determination in their mind, the two wash plants were utilized to excavate and mine gold in their present location. They also watch out for any danger the plants could cause. At the end of the operation, the total amount was 472.6 ounces of gold was actualized, with Slucifer contributing 208.75 ounces of gold and Big Red at 263.85 ounces of gold. How gold wash plant like Roxanne works. Gold wash plants have exceptional qualities, and there are various varieties of gold wash plants that perform in all situations, with varying sluice box counts and riffle designs. A portable plant does not require setup. Water's high pressure can separate smaller particles from larger boulders, which are then placed in sluice boxes and disposed of. Many gold wash plants are being constructed as modular washing equipment for processes such as feeding, screening, and sand washing, as well as production in accordance with required standards. Quarries and mines are increasingly using wet processing technology due to advancements in washing and classifying equipment. Many options exist for increasing the efficiency of gold mine wash processes. The modular design allows for faster machine deployment, a smaller plant footprint, and higher production efficiencies, as well as quick, easy, and safe maintenance for people. Many businesses pre-wire and pre-assemble each gold wash unit before it leaves the factory. Integration of numerous processes on a single chassis reduces installation time and plant footprint while maximizing efficiency through point technology. With the advancement of new engineering technologies and the necessity for improved equipment for gold mining wash operations, mining teams must develop a novel product to meet the demands. In using a gold washer, a bulldozer is used to mine exposed gold-bearing gravels, which are then pushed and piled near a gold wash facility. A front-end loader transports the accumulated gold-bearing gravel into the wash plant. This method maximizes equipment efficiency by allowing the bulldozer to continue mining while the loader feeds the wash plant at a consistent rate. When mined gravel is loaded into the wash facility, it is sorted according to particle size using various vibrating screens. Most operators classify gravels to improve gold recovery efficiency, reduce water usage, and facilitate mine site rehabilitation. The oversized debris, which is often greater than 2 inches, slides out of the wash plant and into a mound that may be handled by a bulldozer. The undersized material and gold-bearing gravel are combined with water and pass through the sluice box, which concentrates the gold and heavy black sands. Tailings are the gravel, sand, and other items that gather at the end of the sluice box. A loader or bulldozer is typically used to remove tailings from the sluice box. The water that transports the gold-bearing gravel through the sluice box becomes sediment-rich and murky. In this muddy process, water flows from the end of the sluice box over a pile of fresh tailings and into a succession of settling ponds. These ponds are intended to retain muddy water long enough for fine sediments to settle. The physical design of the ponds is determined by the volume of water running through the system, the sediment properties of the gravels being handled, and the physical qualities of the location. Most miners employ a succession of tiny settling ponds to provide more flexible water management. Smaller ponds are typically easier to build, repair, clean, replace, bypass, and restore than larger ones. The usage of pre-settling ponds is recommended. The pre-settling pond is positioned in the tail race between the sluice and the first settling pond. Sands and other heavy settleable sediments are collected here so they can be easily washed. However, certain zero-discharge systems do experience periodic discharges, which are mainly caused by water seepage through pond dikes. This flow almost invariably meets the smaller solids discharge criteria and, in most situations, is likely of higher quality than the water discharged from commonly used settling ponds. For example, it results in smaller solids and decreased dirty water. To achieve zero discharge of dirty water into adjacent streams, water management methods must be carefully devised and implemented. The sluicing procedure involves pumping water from a local stream through a wash plant and into settling ponds. Water intake from the stream is suspended when there is enough water in the ponds to enable prolonged sluicing operations, and pond water is recycled to the wash plant. In other circumstances, groundwater flow into the settling ponds may be enough to prevent the requirement to add stream water to the system. The practice of zero discharge and mine water recycling helps to meet the flow limits and state water quality regulations. Placer mining equipment ranges from a basic gold pan to vehicles, excavators, and a gold wash plant. This method of gold prospecting typically requires less investment and yields small amounts of gold on a steady basis with occasional bonus for the persistent. You will be rewarded in the long term if you can learn to consistently return from every trip with decent concentrations so that you may eventually fill a 5-gallon bucket and possibly even a 55-gallon drum with black sands, iron ore, black mineral, rare earth elements, and gold. Parker and his other mining equipment. Parker, filmed inside the cab of one of his new $1 million+ dirt movers, said that everything I've got, pretty much for the most part, is tied up in these machines and in that ground. He reveals how he bought 2 Caterpillar D10 dozers, which are beasts of machines. The D10 was first introduced in 1977 and was the company's largest dozer until the introduction of the Caterpillar D11 in 1986. He spent $1.5 million on the new D10 he is driving, while the other one cost $1 million. However, as Parker somberly describes his circumstances, it appears as though the end of the world is near. He remarks while operating the machine, "We still don't have an ounce of gold to show for any of this. We're $3 million short of our target and well behind schedule. However, things are about to become worse. Soon the engine begins to produce towering clouds of smoke, and disaster hits. Parker is shocked and at first doesn't know if it's steam or smoke, but he soon realizes it's smoke. He calls Mitch to ask for assistance. Then, as a cloud of black smoke begins to engulf him, he swiftly jumps out of the taxi. Have you ever considered the joy of searching and finding huge amounts of gold? Mining makes it easy to search value and own treasure. That makes living easy. Speaking of living well, have you been looking for the ideal phone case? Look no farther than the still-searching tough case for your smartphone. This case is the best guide for your mobile device thanks to its finesse and solid texture. Click on the link in the description box to discover the still-searching tough case's superior quality. What are your thoughts on this cutting-edge wash plant? Leave them in the comment section below. Also like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories.